Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. My name is Breakaway Ray. I like talking about the breakaway civilizations because we're breaking away from the one we're in now. You've tuned into a live tarot throw. Today is February 18th, 2026. We're going to start off the show today with 5 cards for fun. We're going to deliver to you a positive, inspiring message whenever you click on this video. You are meant to hear the message in the cards I'm about to throw. Then, in about 30 to 35 minutes, we're going to have tarot for the audience. So if you're in the chat and you'd like to participate, I invite you to put your tarot request in all capital letters. And I'm going to check it again in about a half an hour, and we'll throw cards for people in the audience. And then in between that time, I'd like to share some thoughts based on an interview that we did yesterday. I'll be sharing some more programming notes about STARCARD Podcast, and we're going to talk about the blood. All right, sweet. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for joining me. Let's not wait any longer. Let's go to the tarot cam. I want to say good morning to Namira. Thanks a lot for tuning in, Namira. Namira's out in the Netherlands. I like the fact that we have a Netherlands-heavy population in our chat here at STARCARD Podcast. Big fan of Dutch. All right, let's throw 5 cards for fun. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I know the tarot world's been waiting to deliver a positive, inspiring message to you, whoever you are. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. You could be somewhere on planet Earth. This message is for you. The tarot world's been making my head ring really loud since I woke up this morning, so I know it's going to be a good one. Here we go. 5 cards for fun. Thank you very much, Tarot World. Five cards for fun. I guess I wanted that one then. There we go, everybody. Let's get organized. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, make sure I got the light the way I like it. All right, card number 1. Wow, it's the King of Pentacles. That guy is styling. He denotes leadership and wealth. And with that big coin, we're talking about real coin, right? Bank, currency, moolah. Ooh, the Page of Cups shows up and says there's a happy surprise. I keep trying to tamp down the idea in my head about something with a lottery. Like this guy, the King of Pentacles, didn't get where he got by winning a lottery. Okay, that's not how it happened. And then the Page of Cups comes around and says, hey, it's a happy surprise. That sounds like a lottery. All right, I don't know what the rest of the message is going to be. Let's figure it out. Ooh, the Wheel of Fortune. Well, doesn't it look like a roulette wheel? Again, it talks about luck. It looks like luck. It feels like luck. Wow, but yeah, here's the real story, everybody. It's the 3 of Pentacles. It took work. It took teamwork. This guy's working somewhere where no one sees him. Hammering feathers to the wall. I don't know what that guy's doing. I got to learn about that card. And then finally, sweet, the Chariot shows up, kind of looking like Santa Claus flying through the sky at night. The Chariot card denotes movement. So, do you want to make it look like you won the lottery and like you just kind of walked into a bunch of blessings? That's great. Most people are only going to see that part when you finally, upgrade yourself and things go well for you, because then other people reflect upon their status and they wonder, how come it's not happening for me? Well, it took a lot of work to get to be the King of Pentacles, and no one saw how hard you worked at it, and you never gave up on it. It's like a workout routine. You have to stick to it. And the more you stick to it and the longer you apply yourself, the better it gets and the bigger the coin you get in the end. So there you go, everybody. That sounds like 5 cards for fun for me. Thank you very much, Tarot World. Let's give these cards a toss. And I'm going to be checking my notes, make sure I don't miss any of the important things I wanted to say to everybody. Wow. Let me give these a toss here. I'm going to come upstairs. Oh, no, I'm not. Hey, everybody. You guys want to see the decks that you can request? Here we go. So first of all, there's this deck. It's called the Classic Tarot. It's the one that has the words on it. There's your Temperance card. So if there's anyone out there that's new to tarot like I was almost a year ago, I accelerated my learning by using cards like this with the words right on them. I didn't have to look it up every time. All right, what else have I got? I've got the other one that we just started with, the Robin Wood Tarot. That's another classic deck. Here you go. I was trying so hard not to get that particular card, but how wonderful. There is the World card. I love showing that card. It's a beautiful card. All right, next up, I have the Old Style Tarot, which is down here. This card, is that a World card? Here we go. Oh, sweet. It's my friend, the Empress. Look at that beautiful card. You know, if you go to the StarCard Podcast playlists, there's one we just did recently here in February. Okay, 5 days with the Empress. We learned a lot in those 5 days. Those were good shows. Anyway, this is called the Old Style Tarot. This deck is slightly wider than the other decks. Maybe by a millimeter. I don't know. I've got 88 gemstones, which is like this, which is the Rider Waite imagery. Okay, but it's gold foil on dark card, which is a lot like the Lost Soul Tarot, which is also foil and gold foil and white on a black card. These decks are fun to shuffle. I have the Neon Tarot, which reminds me of hanging out at Phases in the Valley in Southern California during the 1980s. Phases was a new wave dance place. I'm not saying I hung out there a lot. Ethereal Bloom. It's the one with the flowers on the back and the flowers on the front. Be strong, everybody. Oh, wow. What a pretty image. I really like this deck. I've also got the craft cards out today. I'm going to use this one when I get to my next tarot throw. Hey, 2 times I just pulled, and I pulled the Death card. How about that? Endings and beginnings, transitions. I've got the Stained Glass Tarot. And then I've got, oh, cool. I just pulled the Magician card. I must be really in a groove right now. Now's a good time to put your request for a tarot reading in the chat. So anyway, what I wanted to say, is that I have 4 decks with this Rider Waite imagery, including these 2, which are, sorry about that, everybody, including these 2, which are light foil and dark foil. Okay, I think that's enough of the decks. On to programming, because StarCard Podcast, we've got quite an accumulation of content. There's more than 190 videos. And even though they're dated, everybody, real StarCard Podcast viewers and subscribers know, there's that one section in the show when Breakaway Ray presents new information, and usually it's kind of fun and interesting. I mean, people keep coming back to watch. So let me get my notes out here. All right. So me and my sense of humor, I need to adjust my notes so that I'm not making jokes that make me laugh. I wonder how I'm doing with light here. I'm going to go like this for a little bit here, just so I can see my notes better, everybody. Okay. But I do like it without the lights on. It's better. Huh? What can I tell you? So there's an old expression, you get what you pay for. I'm so happy to join you and to turn on the camera. It really gives meaning to my life. Even though we are separated digitally and perhaps by continents and oceans and things like that. So, but I want to refer back to the funny expression, you get what you pay for, because I want you to know that there might be an interruption in StarCard Podcast service. We are accustomed to having Breakaway Ray there several days a week. That may not be the case, as there are some adjustments going on with StarCard Podcast Studios. So anyway, I do invite you to go to StarCard Podcast. Maybe you'd like to check out some of the other playlists and see videos you've missed. And, they all, I approach all of them with the same kind of thought and preparation, right? Because it's a finished product and, it's a complete thought, as it were. But I can't wait till I get things settled around here so that I can come back out and do it ritually and daily, like a workout routine. Let's face it, I'm getting better at this stuff. Even this part where I'm giving the spiel to the camera. All right, so what else have I got going here? All right. So both in the chat and in the title of the description, I mentioned the very last podcast that we did at StarCard, which was on February 12th. That was the most recent one until this morning, and today is the 18th. So 6 days ago, we did a StarCard podcast. It was pretty remarkable, and we talked about a lot of things that would be missing from our civilization. It was all for entertainment purposes only. Anyway, so in case you missed my discussion about this with Rob on Typical Skeptic Podcast, I'm going to recap for you, okay? So 6 days ago, we finished the show. I turned off the camera. And then as soon as I turn off the camera, click end, the count tells me there's like 60-ish people who clicked on the video. And that was like more than normal. And I really felt like, the wheels were rolling and the snowball was rolling down the hill at that point. And then when I later on in the day, I checked the count and it was still like at 60. And I'm all good. After 2 hours, I got 60 views. I know for a lot of people, that's not much, but that was like a big deal to me because I'm finally saying to myself, yeah, finally, we're getting the ball rolling here. I expect 60 views in 2 hours, and I expect to be in triple digits when I wake up tomorrow morning on that particular podcast. But now, as I mentioned to Rob on Valentine's Day, in fact, when I woke up the following morning, I only had 47 views on the show that had 60 to begin with. Now, I know the platform that we're on, they have good reasons why that happens. And then, there's only been one more view since. So as of the 18th, last time I checked anyway, I was at 48 views for the February 12th show. And I didn't think that was normal because, now let's go through the dates here. On Valentine's Day, which is after February 12th, on Valentine's Day, more than 300 people saw me on Typical Skeptic Podcast, and we even got some more subscribers, okay? And then on February 17th, which was yesterday, okay, Julia Anchorhaven and I met with Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot, and Julia put her video on her channel, and I encourage you all to check it out and to subscribe. Julia Anchorhaven is really on fire. You need to check out her channel. She's doing really remarkable work. But anyway, I'm happy to talk about Julia, but the point is a couple of hundred people just on the YouTube saw Breakaway Ray since February 12th. And out of a couple of hundred people, maybe 400 people, let's say 400, just on, that one platform, nobody clicked on the very most recent video on February 12th. So I don't really know what's going on, but when you get censored, and by the way, I don't know if this is censorship. I mean, everything could be totally normal. And I could be like, just in an entertaining way, showing how insecure I am, right? Getting all conspiratorial. All right. So whoever the policy makers are and the enforcers are, including the artificial intelligences, they may have very good reasons for how they tabulate. And I say good for them. They need to stick to their guns and stick to their rules. We all need to follow rules. How you can have a society if nobody follows any rules. So where was I going with that? Well, I seem to have lost my train of thought despite my notes. So anyway, oh yeah, now I know where I was going with that. So, back in the 1980s, punk rock and new wave music was like a big thing. But again, media back then was very different than it is today. There was no internet for the rest of us. Okay, I'm aware that there were some sections of our civilization where the internet was there and it was always there the whole time. But anyway, there was no internet. So like if you found out about a cool band or even a cool show, especially when you're operating out of the Whiskey A Go-Go downtown, you're on the in crowd. You're in the in scene, right? You're getting information from the cool people. And I don't know how cool I am. I look like a nerd dressing up with a tie every day. But I'm just saying this might be one of those things where you watch your podcast where they have thousands of subscribers, thousands and thousands of views in an hour, blah, blah, blah. That's great. But you know what? I'm like that thing that's off the menu, right? StarCard Podcast is off the menu. Word of mouth. Anyway, the point is I can't be worried about the numbers. I have a tough enough time just trying to communicate when I'm here to communicate and then throwing cards. I really appreciate everyone's support. And I encourage you to check out that February 12th episode. All right. That's like a make or break. Not to say it's a make or break episode, but you'll know if you really like StarCard Podcast, if you like the one from February 12th. All right. Let me go on with this here. All right. So as I mentioned, I was on the Typical Skeptic podcast on Valentine's Day, Saturday night. We had some friends show up out there, and that was an ironic appearance. And that's all. That video is already in the Typical Skeptic podcast appearances playlist at StarCard Podcast. And you know what else? I've done the math, and if you check the description to that playlist, it turns out I've been on Rob's show, the Typical Skeptic podcast, 21 times. And almost all the videos are there. There's 3 of them that I haven't linked up yet. I might have to go to Rumble to get them. But again, you can follow Breakaway Race progression. I mean, all the videos are there. And thanks to Rob Khalil for giving me my start and changing my life and telling me about tarot and everything else. So thank you very much, Rob. And then, as I mentioned, we have a new edition. It might even be playing right now simultaneously. Because I just uploaded the video on my channel. Julia Anchorhaven had already loaded it up on hers yesterday, right after we did the interview in the morning for me. It was the afternoon for her. But we have a new video added to the Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot appearance. It's sightings. We have a new video uploaded to the Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot sightings playlist over at StarCard Podcast. And I think that's running right now. And part of what we're going to talk about today is based on what I learned yesterday from Julia and Jim and Matt. And I want to mention Jim, who is the dad. I didn't realize we were so close in age. We're class of 84, right? That's pretty cool. I feel like I have a lot of kinship with you, and I want to share with you the class motto I wrote for my high school graduating class. We study less, we party more. We're the class of 84. All right, Jim, that was fun yesterday. I look forward to seeing you again. I appreciate your support. Let me see what else I got going here. Oh, well, hey, so maybe some people want me to explore, why would somebody not want anyone to see the February 12th show, Breakaway Ray? Well, there's some things that I think that are being concealed and taken off the table and hidden from us, like the things that you would have found in Omni Magazine or Popular Mechanics, all those great technologies that are on the cusp of being presented to the public. And then all of a sudden, we never hear from that stuff again. So one of the things that I think that might be taken away from us, and I would object strenuously, I'm an English literature major. I'm born in the United States. I was raised on Robert Frost poetry. I would not want this poem to go missing from our knowledge. So before I move on to the next subject, I'm going to recite the poem again, which I also have like a couple of videos of at the Taropedia playlist, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. And now, to follow that up, here are some made-up pretend names of people born in Brazil. All right, so now I have to explain my joke here. I have family members who are from the country of Brazil, and I affectionately tease them about how in Brazil, certainly in the 20th century, things may be different now, birth certificates, they weren't so fussy about. So if you had a birthday, you had to take someone's word for it that was your birthday in a way. And then when it came to names, there was a flair, a style that I really enjoy. There's a flair or a style that I really enjoyed about Brazilian baby names, because they would borrow names that they really respected and admired from American culture and integrate them into their name. So here we go, everybody. This is Breakaway Ray's version of Brazilian baby names. This is just for fun. I don't like that. All right, hang on. Benjamin Franklin Lima e Silva. Gregory Peck Gray Pupan Suarez. Katy Perry Candelabra Machado. Jose Hamon Rai Cardoso y Campos. Fanta Butterfly Chrysanthemum Santos. Cleopatra Kaleidoscope Mendez. All right. Now let's see what else I got. I'm on my last page, everybody. Oh yeah, this is the meat of the show here. Okay, we're going to start off by talking about a book called The Man with Periwinkle Eyes by John Whitberg. I've discussed this several times. You can find it yourself. It's easy to look up, The Man with Periwinkle Eyes. Now, I think it's from volume 4, which is the most recent publication. Mr. Whitberg details his protagonist's reconditioning when he got sent to, I think it was the Cheyenne Mountain Complex in Colorado in the United States. And they took him in a body as a young person, someone who is not an adult. And again, you know, this is for entertainment purposes only. Most of us would absolutely consider this science fiction. So please let me continue. So they took this young character in, a male, and they did some kind of a blood transfusion because this child, this young male, the protagonist in the story, they were destined to become and in order to make him the most enhanced, well, there's technology for that, according to this story. So they replaced his blood with a blood substitute, okay? And it had nanites in it. I realize that most of us are not even supposed to really believe that nanotechnology is real, okay? But nevertheless, the story goes that they did some sort of a blood transfusion in which the blood that was put in had nanites in it, which is a technology on a super microscopic scale. It also had sedatives in it, you know, to keep the subject, the patient, docile. Okay. And then also they had to have some kind of nutrients. I mean, I realize what they're doing to this person doesn't sound ethical at all, but they don't want their product to damage. So they do need to put nutrients in it, like an IV, right? Keep the body alive while the transition is made from regular human to enhanced psychic human being. I want to share that first. Okay, now let me see where I'm going with that. Oh, so I want to finish up there with the notes about the nanites. So, you know, you already have someone who's predisposed to be psychic. They determine that by reading their DNA. So you already have someone who's predisposed to being psychic. And why put the nanites in? Well, remember, if it's a technology, those nanites can enhance what the subject is going to do and also operate, as we've already learned from people like Raynetta Jones on Typical Skeptic Podcast. You know, they can use that for monitoring and manipulation, technology for monitoring and manipulation. Not to mention the other benefits of nanites, which would be to like repair cells, etc. All right. So when I think about that, you know, there's a story from Tony Rodrigues called Ceres Colony Cavalier. That's another book. You can find it on Amazon. And in that story, Tony Rodrigues talks about his own experience. That's a little bit like the boy from the John Whitberg story that I'm trying to tell you about. What they did was they doped up Tony Rodrigues' clone while he was young enough to still be psychic. And when they did that, it was easy for them to access the psychic world for whatever they were doing in the Tony Rodrigues story. All right. And in this case, with the John Whitberg story, now you have with the nanites in there, you know, advanced technology. If you add that to the Tony Rodrigues thing, okay, that's what you got. You got like a bionic Tony Rodrigues psychic. All right. Let me continue now. All right. So now let's talk about what we learn in school. I know a little bit about that because I used to work in a classroom. What we learn in school, we learn about things like the 5 senses. I know there's a bunch of people already like in the chat, or if they're watching the recording, they're all, yo, there's more than 5 senses, Breakaway Ray. I know. They're easy to count on my 5-fingered hand. Okay. It's not like a 6-fingered hand. That's another subject. Okay. But yesterday we were talking with, okay, so let's get to the senses first. First of all, your ears, right? Sound is created, sound travels in waves, it rides the air and it hits your ear, and it's just a bunch of signals. But since you were a baby, you've been adjusting those sounds to, create meaning in your brain. So you already have like software in your brain. Well, it's hardware. I don't know what you would call it. You've already got the hardware, and you've figured out how to interpret these sounds that you hear into things that you understand. And we do the same thing with our vision, right? So we know that the images are projected onto the back of our retina, where the cones and the rods are, and it's actually projected upside down like a camera obscura. Okay, and even though the images are upside down, those images, those sensations that we received on the back of our retina there, okay, they're sent to our brain, and our brain transposes that information right side up so we know what we're looking at. All right, where else does that come into play here? Oh, so when I was in the classroom, I often enjoyed sharing this story with the students, the young students that I work with, because it helped them to imagine, exactly what's going on in our brain. So there was an experiment that took place many years ago, I suppose, because everything I know is from many years ago. And some gentleman was wearing glasses while he was awake, and everything was upside down. Like the mirrors were set up so he could only see things upside down. So he's navigating his world for a couple of weeks. And at first it's very hard. Everything's upside down. But after a while, his brain has adapted and moved things around. So now everything's like normal. When he took off the mirror glasses, he had to reorient again. Okay. All right. So let's continue here. One of the videos I have at STARCARD Podcast is an interview I did with the psychic duck. Now, I don't know if this part made the cut of the video, but the psychic duck was sharing that, and I'm going to try my best to paraphrase what she said. She said that, we're basically transmitters. She's picking up signals and she's relaying them. And she can also relay signals and send them. And while the psychic duck is very talented at it, okay, each of us has that ability biologically from birth. It's a God-given gift. We can all do it. And if you watch the interview with Julia Ankerhaven and I and the Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot guys, there's confirmation that here in the year 2026, now is a good time to get your clairs pumped up, your clairaudience, your clairsentience, etc. Okay, let's move on and make sure I'm not missing anything here. Oh, okay. So I talked about the psychic duck and how she mentioned, like, inside your brain is like a transistor. You can send and receive signals. And what we discovered yesterday, and it makes so much sense now, what we discovered yesterday is that blood is our antenna. Blood is our antenna. They would never tell us that, would they? So, there was a Star Trek The Next Generation episode where the humans on board the Enterprise were dealing with a crystalline sentience. And when they were communicating with these crystal beings, they called the humans on the Enterprise, quote unquote, ugly bags of water. Of course, that sounded hilarious to me and totally true. We're compared to them, we're ugly bags of water. I agree. Hey, everybody. We are, what are we here? We are electrified. Let me try to do this again. We are electrified saline sacs of water with a crystalline skeleton. So we have crystals in our skeleton. Crystals are piezoelectric. When you press on crystals, they activate. Okay. We already got an electric field around us. Okay. Have you heard of a Kirlian camera? Kirlian. A Kirlian camera, you can take a picture of people's auras. Now, please tell me why, if I've heard about Kirlian cameras from the 1980s, okay, why are they like not commonplace? How fast would it be for us to adjust our auras if we knew what our auras look like? I want to remind you of something I mentioned in another show. There are these swim machines where, you swim in place against like a boat motor, sending a current right at you, and they have a mirror in there and you can see your stroke. And as soon as you can see your stroke, you can adjust it. You know, if we had a Curly and camera, if they were, you know, geez, in a school, how helpful would that be to a school counselor, for example? Anyway, what else have I got to say about this? All right. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're supposed to be psychic. We're supposed to connect with the spirit world. We have all the tools to do it. We have a pineal gland. The pineal gland has crystals that help us receive these signals. We have, crystal technology like salt in our blood. And that also helps us with our antenna, right? So that we can receive these signals. So everybody, now it's time for us to recognize it, right? And then tune in like it's an AM or FM radio. It's going to take practice. It's going to take a long time. Think about how long it took you to figure out what you were understanding when you were learning the language your parents are speaking to you. Okay, it's going to take some time, but you got a head start. All the tools are right there. Plus, you seem to be pretty on top of things if you're tuning into this conversation. All right, so I'm going to go downstairs now. I got a mind map I want to share. Here we go. My broken lamp. Hang on. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need. I don't want the black ink to seep through the paper, so I'm gonna put a little mat underneath it here. So I'd like to keep track of some of the thoughts I have when I think about blood. Okay, so I'll be writing it upside down. You saw what this looks like, right? See if I can get this right. So the blood is an antenna. It has crystals like salt. There's some other important chemical compounds that should be in our blood. And if you watch the interview from yesterday with Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot, some of them are mentioned. So, you know, when we think about that poor kid in the John Whitberg story, now we really understand the science behind it, don't we? I mean, not only are they putting nanites in there and nutrients and sedatives, but they're doing it like, you know, this is old school science. Everybody knows every human being is an antenna and can receive signals. When those scientists at Cheyenne Mountain had the young boy that they were, you know, pumping up and turning into a bionic psychic, they were just following old protocols that are kept from us. Now I'm starting to sound like I'm talking on February 12th. So, you know, our body is our temple. We need to take care of it. That means we are responsible for its nutrients. You know, there's a horseshoe crab, and I do believe the horseshoe crab has blue blood. That's all I can tell you about it. There's a whole bunch more information about blue blood. And I'm sure there's people watching this video saying, come on, Breakaway Ray, bring in the royals. You know what you're talking about. Keep on going. Follow that thought. Well, that's why I'm making a mind map, because now I can follow any of these trains of thought and further research, for example. So we've got that. And then we just talked about the substitute replacements. I mean, we already know an IV can substitute and replace blood or add to it. There's plasma. There's blood transfusions. How many blood transfusions did Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones have? How is that guy still alive? That's amazing. Anyway, you could keep on going like this just to show how important blood is. Oh, hey, I didn't mention, did I? Blood oaths. Am I really going to bring in magic with blood? Yes. Yes. How many times have sacred rites been sacred oaths, sacred rites, all been involved with blood? I mean, I don't want to get too gross or anything like that, but blood sure seems like it's really important. And there's a lot more to it that we just don't know about, and I don't even teach about. I mean, did you know that the RH factor look at that's like one of the last afterthoughts I put on my mind map here. Did you know that the RH factor actually indicates how psychic you can be and whether you can access ancient builder technology? That's more information. You could consider it entertainment if you like, but I really do believe there's a lot more science going on just with our blood. And I invite hematologists to contact me and to comment so that we can explore all these ideas. All right. So now on top of all those ideas, everybody, the message for us here at StarCard is that we need to recognize our antenna and tune in. How am I doing on time? All right. Not too poorly. Okay. We're going to recognize our antenna and we're going to start tuning in. I mean, I realize, lots of us, especially me, no one's a bigger fan of psychics than me. I've not only interviewed with so many psychics, which, was an investment. It required me to pay for their services, which was fine. They are entitled to it. We should all support our local psychics. Okay. But at the same time, all of us can develop our own intuition and we can even compare notes with psychics, right? Okay. So I'm going to use these craft cards and invite the tarot world to send us a message about recognizing our antenna and tuning in. I tried to use the Latin plural there, antennae, okay? All right, wait a minute. Here. Wow, I'm looking at my my studio count, and oh wow, I had a good fraction a minute ago, everybody. It's still a great fraction. The point is, I've got just as many viewers as I have likes, 100%. That's outstanding. I'm glad you're liking the show, everybody. Okay, so recognize your antenna and tune in, Tarot World. I'm sorry I made you wait a week to send messages. Although the ones you sent at the Typical Skeptic podcast were exquisite. Oh man, on Valentine's Day, Saturday night, it was like the Tarot World dressed up in a tuxedo or an evening gown and gave the most amazing readings. But anyway, Tarot World, here we go. What would you like to share with our audience here at StarCard about recognizing our antenna? There's more than one. There's more than one. Ask Robert Monroe. Yeah, I dare you. Recognizing our antenna and tuning in. Recognizing our antenna and tuning in. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Right after this, we have tarot for the audience. Let's see what we got. I want to get the lights the way I like them. Okay. All right, well, that'll work. All right, first up, the Eight of Wands. We need better light than this. The Eight of Wands, remember how we said like 2026 is the year where it's happening? Now is our chance, okay? I think that might be one of the clues we're getting from the tarot world right now about tuning in. Remember, blood is an antenna. Next up, the Ten of Wands talks about it's a lot of work, okay? I mentioned that. You got to practice at it. You're not just going to snap your fingers and think that you're as good as a psychic duck. Although the psychic duck does point out, all you got to do is locate the vibration, locate the frequency, and you're in. I hope the psychic duck doesn't mind my sharing this part, but she told me that part of her development as a psychic involved hanging out with another psychic. And when she was in the zone, the psychic duck would stroll through the room and catch on to exactly what her mentor was doing because she was in the same vibration. So it seems kind of easy in a way. We're talking about, tuning in, like I mentioned, like a ham radio. Next up, the Temperance. In the description to the Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoot video, which might still be playing from yesterday, but playing right now on StarCard Podcast also, I mentioned that you need to check your past, your present, and I got that wrong. Let me start over. You need to check your past and your future and your ego at the door because we're all going to be in the present. And look at the Temperance Angel. The Temperance Angel has to be in the present to do all that balancing, pouring liquid from one cup to another while standing on land and in the water. Good thing that angel's got wings to keep things balanced. Well, that's the thing, everybody. The wings almost sound like an afterthought. We've all got wings, everybody. That's what we're trying to say. That's what our pineal gland is all about, and all of our antenna and all of our senses. Time to get like extrasensory perception augmented yourself. Command it of your DNA to improve it, increase it, augment it right now. And the Three of Pentacles talks about building something new, implementing something new, kind of like what I was just saying. And of course, I'm talking about building that relationship with the spirit world. You've already got a good head start. You've already made contact with your spirit guides. All right. Now let them know you're ready to improve your vision, your hearing, your clairaudience, your pre-consciousness, all those special gifts. They all come in at once, everybody. You crack open one, it's like a floodgate. Whoa. Wow. And then the Hierophant indicates it's a lot of learning. You got a lot to learn. Wouldn't it be a surprise to find out, instead of 5 senses, you have 15. Now you got to take in all that data. How do you manage it? How do you process it? You're not the kind of human you thought you were the whole time. Let's finish off the message about recognizing our antenna and tuning in. Wow, sweet. That tarot world's so awesome. We got the Magician card and the 8 of Swords card. And why I'm giggling, of course, I'm all excited about the Magician because we're talking about making magic. And then here at StarCard Podcast, the 8 of Swords is my card that says as much as you can imagine. Make magic as much as you can imagine. If you can imagine it, you can do it. You could do it. The world is your oyster. Tarot world, well done. Thank you very much for that helpful, fun message. We're now getting ready for Tarot for the audience. I see we have quite a few friends in the chat. I'm going to be looking for capital letters. But first, I think I'm going to say hi and pull out people's name tags. If you don't have a name tag yet, I'm going to make you one. Right, I got them all in my clouds box here. Let's go upstairs. Wow, I got more likes than viewers right now. That's a great improper fraction. I love it. Hello, LMAABB. Nice to see you. Hello, Namira again. Hello, Rear Gunner. Hi, God's Flow. We're all over the world here. Hey, Safe Haven 1111. I hope you caught your video on the playlist, the individual tarot playlist at StarCard Podcast. I want to thank you very much. Hey, if for some reason you're not comfortable with that video and you want me to take it down, please let me know. Anyone can contact me at my email address. It's linked in the description there. But anyway, so glad you're here, Safe Haven 1111. What else have I got here? Oh, yeah. Okay. Very good, Safe Haven. I appreciate it. Thanks for sending me that message. Fairy Tale in the Hall. Hi, Fairy Tale in the Hall. Thank you for joining us. We got so many different continents in the house today. I already said hi to Julia Anchorhaven. Hi, Julia. I think you're out there. And all right, so let me get some name tag. Oh, Girl Warrior's here. Hi, Girl Warrior. Right on. Did I mess up the reading last time, Girl Warrior? I'm going to make sure I understand the question. Anyway, happy to throw cards for you. Let's get some name tags out here. Hey, Rear Gunner. All right. Top of the morning to you. Who else have I got here? Safe Haven. Got it. We're going to find everybody's name here. I'm going through the Valentines right now. They're alphabetized. It shouldn't take too long. All right. So I've got LMAABB. I also have Fairy Tale in the Hall. Here we go. I got God's Flow. Okay. And now I've got Schoolhouse. Schoolhouses to look through. I got some other name tags out there. Here we go. I got Girl Warrior. So now if I'm pulling your name tag out and you don't want a reading, make sure you put it in all capital letters. I might not see it. Okay. I got Julia Anchorhaven. Namira. Hey, Safe Haven. I still got your Schoolhouse. Okay. Now I'm trying to figure out if I missed anybody. It feels like I got everybody. Hey, you know what? In case I missed anybody, now would be a good time to, type in the chat again so that I don't miss you. Okay. I'll make you a name tag if you're new here. I probably have your name tag if you're not. All right, so here are the ones I have. LMAABB. Fairy Tale in the Hall, the Rear Gunner, Safe Haven, Namira, Julia Anchorhaven, Girl Warrior. I had God's Flow, didn't I? God's Flow is here. I said hello to her. Hang on, God's Flow. I'm going to get your Valentine out. I missed it. There we go. Got you, God's Flow. I just kind of eyeballed out of the corner of my eye. Girl Warriors, very interesting question. I think that's a great question to pose. Let's see what I can do here. I'm going to go back up to the top. For people with precise questions. So, Girl Warrior, you have a particular question. I believe LMAABB does, and then I'm going to double check those right now. Otherwise I'm going with like the general reading. The tarot world knows what you want to hear. All right, let's find out. I'm going to very quickly read. That's right, Julia. Thanks for your help. Classic. So Namira wants the classic one. Let me write that down. Okay. Okay, so hey, LMAABB, I like how you're posing your query. You're simply asking which option can I reach sooner, option 1 or option 2? That's like so easy. The tarot world knows what you're talking about. I don't need to know. We'll make it very simple. Oh, great. So let's I got you, and I'm gonna keep on going now. Make sure I'm getting all the requests. And okay, and I see Girl Warrior wants to know how psychic am I? Also, I am RH negative. Whoa, cool. I wonder if you have like any relatives in the Basque country. All right, so I'm going to go with Elam first, then the Girl Warrior, and then we'll go from there, everybody. There's plenty of time if you want to request a reading or if you want to refine your request. Okay, so let's go now with LMAABB. We're going to go downstairs. What? Let's make it pretty and use the old style deck. All right. Well, I just cut the deck, LMAABB, to shuffle, and I got the King of Swords, and he's mental clarity and truth. So I presume we have a lot of truth coming at you. Let's toss them. Well, Tarot World, Elam's making it very easy for me. Which one will happen first, option 1 or option 2? Thank you, Tarot World. Could you please help LMAABB? I know it's for entertainment purposes only. Which option comes first, option 1 or option 2? Here's for option 1. Here's for option 2. I'm taking off the bottom. Which one comes first, option 1 or option 2? And then I'm just going to throw 2 cards down here to follow up. All right, option 1. The Page of Swords, the Ace of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. Option 2, the Ace of Swords, the Seven of Wands, the Knight of Cups. Option 1 is coming in at a particularly set time. but it's still powerful, and you still have a chance to refine your manifestation. You're making magic, but it's not fully developed. So whatever you do for your manifestation practice, however you organize your thoughts, just be aware, set it, set your intention, and then walk away the way you should, because it's all about it's going to come your way anyway. How good do you want it? And the Page of Swords says, if you look at this, it says new ways of communicating. If you look at this guy, he's like looking up at the sky with a sword. What does he think he's going to do that tool? I don't really get this picture, but he's looking in a direction I would say is unexpected, but he's ready to go. All right, so that's that story. Maybe option one. It's like you could buy a house, but it's just a matter of which house you're going to get. It's time to do it. You're starting a family or what have you. We're just pretending here. Okay, so this one's on the way. Meanwhile, option two. I just want to say that option two looks, sorry to use this adjective, but it looks very sexy. It's the Ace of Swords. It is the most appealing. Okay. The Seven of Wands says that there might be some kind of challenge involved. And the Knight of Cups says it looks like the knight in shining armor. It looks pretty gorgeous. Maybe option two is the more appealing one. And maybe option one looks like the one that's coming down the road anyway. It feels like this one would require more struggle, okay, even though you have the higher ground, because you know what the goal is, you know what the objective is, hanging out with this guy, okay? Meanwhile, even though this is part of your life plan before you got down here, you still have the ability to color it in the way you want. Hang on, I haven't answered your question yet. The Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. You're in a very great position because it looks like maybe this is not just exclusive of one another. I'm surprised we didn't see the Seven of Cups. These are opportunities. One opportunity you perceive and one opportunity you're creating. The Nine of Pentacles talks about the fruits of your labor. You helped create both parts of this reality. And the Nine of Cups says it's a wish come true, like you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. I say you need to have the peanut butter and the chocolate together. Which one would come first? I'm not sure this one comes first. I think that there's some challenge involved with this one. Whereas this one, it feels like it's already on the way. This guy already saw it coming. I'm going to say option one comes first. That's my guess. But of course, use your discernment. Maybe people in the chat want to take a look at the cards themselves and say, door number one, door number one, door number two. But anyway, congratulations on the good position you're in. LM, double A, double B, you got double nines there. 99%. Here we go. I'm going to give these a toss. Yeah, way to go, LM. I appreciate you inviting me to read. I think I'm blushing from those two kisses. All right, let's see who's next. Girl Warrior, how psychic are you? Let's find out. Let's find out according to the tarot world. I think that's the only question, right? Did I lose it? Yeah, how psychic am I? On the RH negative bloodline. Here we go. I'm going to give these cards a toss, Girl Warrior. How psychic is the Girl Warrior? Hey, Tarot World, can you help the Girl Warrior out? How psychic is she? How psychic is Girl Warrior? How psychic is Girl Warrior? How psychic is Girl Warrior? That card wanted to come out. Okay. let's see what kind of message we get from these lovely cards. How psychic is the girl warrior? I probably should have just thrown these two. The Ace of Pentacles indicates, you're not wrong and you're coordinating with the universe. And the Nine of Pentacles, what LMAAB just saw, says it's the fruits of your labor. You've been practicing this, but also you came in with it, didn't you? Do you have some psychic events from your childhood, perhaps, that got you started? Well, do you walk by people and you you can hear their thoughts sometimes? Next up, it's the Seven of Wands and the Hierophant. So the Seven of Wands, again, a card we just saw a moment ago, talks about a challenge, but you have the higher ground. You see things from a higher perspective, and that has informed you, says the Hierophant, who's all about learning. No wonder you're asking this question. Wow. And you're asking Breakaway Ray at STARCARD Podcast, how psychic am I? And the tarot world presents the Six of Swords. So now I have to go like this. Sorry about that. It's such a lovely card, though. So the Six of Swords tells you that you're being guided from rougher waters to calmer waters by a divine hand. You already have an established, strong spiritual connection. So the answer is yes. Based on the experiences and the data that you've accumulated and all the learning that you're doing, the tarot world seems to indicate that, yeah, you're pretty psychic. So here's the last part of the adventure, girl warrior. You have the Ten of Wands, the Justice card, and the King of Wands. The Ten of Wands says it's a lot of work, and that's okay, because when you have integrity, that's cause and effect. You get what you earn. Okay. And then when your psychic skills are sufficiently developed, you are like the King of Wands. You see the big picture on everything. You see the big picture. And you have the ability to overcome obstacles because you can see paths other people can't see. Congratulations, girl warrior. Keep up the good work. Thank you for inviting me to read and for watching StarCard Podcast. Yeah, I love it when my card shows up in reading. Thank you, girl warrior. Thank you, tarot world. Next up, Namira. She wanted to see the classic deck. That's the one with the words. All right, let's throw some cards for Namira. Check that out. I cut the deck and I got the King of Swords. Hey, you're welcome, girl warrior. These cards are for Namira. Thanks for inviting me to read, Namira. Thanks for all the practice. Look at how much better I've gotten. This is like, when a dad plays catch with his son, this is what Namira does for me. She's all, hey, why don't you throw some cards for me, Breakaway Ray? Cool. I appreciate it. It's for entertainment purposes only. That's why Namira comes back. This is so much fun. Here we go, Namira. The Emperor, you're in the driver's seat. Oh, you're in the driver's seat. Sometimes when you're in charge, there are things to worry about. Maybe there's some things we worry about because other people that you care about need to worry about them, or they don't see it coming. I'm not worried about this card yet. That's natural. I call that like quote unquote stage fright. When you're, before you go out on stage, you better have some jitters or you're not going to do well. Okay. The King of Pentacles. Again, nothing to worry about. Look at how much power and control is involved here. The Emperor knows exactly what to do, totally in control. And the King of Pentacles is sitting on the other side of this little sleepless night. Everything's going to be fine. When we follow a path of integrity and we do the best we can every day, we can always look back and say, hey, we gave it the best shot we could. Okay. We can't make decisions for other people. Okay. Wow. And the Queen of Cups is, maybe that's what's going on. I'm just following, along with these ideas because the Queen of Cups is empathic and she really cares. Let's read about the Queen of Cups. Compassion, comfort, calm, nurturing, healing, emotionally stable, intuitive, and caring. You know what this also reminds me of is one of my grandmothers, the genius, the chemistry teacher. She never drove a car. She never learned to drive. She also never learned to swim. That's the genius. Anyway, she had three sisters, and they were always worry warts a little bit. They didn't want you to play outside. They didn't want to go down to the Yankee Stadium. They like to play things safe because they know better and they've seen things happen and they care about us. So it's hard to like say, no, I'm going to go to the baseball game. I know you're worried, but don't worry. It's going to be okay. People have to make their own decisions. So in some cases, the Queen of Cups, I don't want to turn her upside down, but let's let her do a little full circle here. So, again, we can't make decisions for other people. But then the Three of Cups is, again, it's a celebration card. We have nothing to worry about. There's nothing to worry about. This is the little bit of worry. We're totally in control. We did a good job. We gave it the best shot we could. We looked out for those we care about, but we can't make decisions for people. Everyone has, free will. And thank goodness we could celebrate that. The Two of Cups talks about working together with other people. And let's read what it says about the Page of Pentacles. Manifestation, financial opportunity, skill development, ambition, desire, and diligence. When I was talking about my grandmother and her sisters, my aunts, they were great backseat drivers. My grandmother had to be a backseat driver. She would only ride in the backseat, by the way. And, when my grandfather had to go someplace, she would be reading the map and she would literally be a backseat driver. I wonder if people know what that's like when you're driving around and you have to also like check a map. That's not something you do, of course. You either have a navigator or you pull the car over to the other side of the road there. You drive safely. Anyway, I don't think there's any reason. I mean, the Queen of Cups is not going to get too excited. Again, people have their own business. People's domestic affairs are their domestic affairs. But you have good communication with everybody, Namira. So when they want your leadership and guidance, they're going to be happy to call on you. Anyway, I hope that was a fun and appropriate reading. Thanks very much for inviting me to read. I just want to say, I feel like, when you're a parent or a grandparent, it's hard to turn off the love. But, that goes with like everything, when you're done with a job, it's hard to walk away. You cared so much about it. How many athletes do we hear about? They like retire and they like, it's hard to give up the game. They really miss it. They miss the camaraderie and the interaction. Here we go, Safe Haven. You're up. I'm going to go to the Ethereal Bloom. Hey, Namira, I appreciate your feedback. Thank you very much. All right, here we go, Safe Haven. Happy to throw another bunch of cards for you. These are the Ethereal Bloom cards. All right, Tarot World, you're doing such a great job. I appreciate it so much. We're making people around the planet happy. Whoa. And these cards are for Safe Haven. You know her. She's got her own video at STARCARD Podcast. These cards are for Safe Haven. Thanks for joining us, Safe Haven. First up, the Knight of Cups, the Knight in shining armor. The Page of Swords, new way of communicating. Four of Wands, that's the homecoming card. There's a celebration going on. The Ace of Wands, there's magic in the air. Wow, Safe Haven. Strength, look at how it shows up at the end of the sentence like an exclamation point. Well, when I first saw these cards, I thought to myself, new way of communicating, Knight of Cups. Does this mean we're meeting somebody online, for example? But then you see that these two characters, they're back to back. Anyway, I'm glad I threw more cards because then when I threw this one, it felt a little bit more like, there's a member of our family who's in the military or they're at college and they're coming home. So there's a homecoming and there's a celebration. We're happy to see, our child or a precious friend that we haven't seen in a long time. We finally connected online again. So we're going to get together. There's going to be magic in the air. And that's an awesome thing. I'm going to meet my friend for lunch. Okay. I'm going to see my uncle. We're going to have a cup of coffee this weekend. My cousin's coming into town. All right. Next up, wow, you have the Emperor and the Queen of Cups. Let's read about, well, the Emperor, short story, he's in control. Let's go to the book and read about the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups embodies the essence of compassion and emotional stability. She offers comfort and nurturing, acting as a beacon of healing and care. Her intuitive nature allows for deep connections, reflecting a serene and caring presence. Gee, I could substitute all those other names of relatives and just go right for dad or mom in a way. You know, it's good to be with parents who love you, or whoever that parent figure is. It's going to be really comfortable. You're going to really feel empowered and cared for when this Knight of Cups rides into town. It's worth celebrating. Have a good time. Thank you, Safe Haven. I mean, I have no idea if I'm right. I'm just trying to make up a story according to what the cards say. But I love it when people in the chat say, wow, that was pretty close there, Breakaway Ray. Anyway, here we go, Julia. I'm going to throw some cards for you. You're already rocking. I can tell just by going to your YouTube channel and see your subscriber and views go up like crazy. So let's throw you a few cards right here. Yeah, you're welcome, Safe Haven. Have a good time. Wow, Safe Haven, you seem to have something astronomical as a picture, an avatar. I mean, I have the God's Eye, which is in the Aquarius nebula, Aquarius constellation. I wonder what that. I'll have to click on it later and look. Very, very nice picture. Here we go, Safe Haven. Oh, sorry, Julia. We're on cards for Julia here. Wow, Julia, we really. But you know, we all see what she's doing on YouTube. You know, and her other platforms with her channel. You know, she's busy in her regular life too. She's got some stuff going on. All right, here we go, Julia. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome, Safe Haven. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Hey, Julia, the 10 of Wands guy. Look at all that work he's got to do. The 7 of Swords. Something's hidden. Might that be Julia digging out what's hidden and putting it on the internet so everyone can see it? Yeah, it could be, because there's a Strength card and that lady is telepathic and she can talk to lions and other creatures. You know what? You think you're getting away with something? This lady's got a pet lion. Nobody's getting away with anything. And there you go, Julia. Enjoy your Ace of Pentacles. Let's read about the Ace of Pentacles. The time is coming for you to manifest your goals, achieve your dreams, and realize your potential. Financial new beginnings, career or business opportunities, investments, savings, prosperity, and manifestation are coming your way. Julia, you were kind enough to share, what's going on in your world with me yesterday before our interview. And I just want to say these cards seem to really paint a picture of what's going on. You're doing a great job, a lot of work, turning the hidden card into a revealing card in a major way. Keep up the good work. Thanks for inviting me to read and dropping by our show. Next up, I've got God's Flow, and I got Rear Gunner standing by. And Rear Gunner is my last one, unless someone gets into the chat and says, I'd like a reading also. So God's Flow, old style for God's Flow. There we go. And I'm making good time too. Sweet. I'm going to quote Bender the Robot from the cartoon Futurama. I'm back, baby. I know, 6 days, no live tarot throw. I'm sorry to make you wait. Glad to be back. I'm sorry the show's almost over. Here we go, God's Flow. I want to send you some warm and comforting vibes from where I'm at to where you're at. These cards for God's flow. Hey, God's flow. Let's start out with a Knight of Swords, charging forward electrically and defending oneself. The Nine of Wands, someone who's been seasoned through experience. The Moon, that experience could be in the department of the unconscious. Sorry, the subconscious. Unconscious is what I do later when I go take a nap. So maybe you've got experience from your explorations of the subconscious. That would mean that you would have new tools and powers waiting for you here. Wow. You have the Hermit card, who's all about exploring the subconscious, and you have the Emperor card. Guess who's in the driver's seat? You're in control, God's flow. Way to go. Sometimes you got to venture forth and nick your knee up a couple of times if you're going to get into the driver's seat. There's no free rides. Your message closes with the Four of Swords, which is the meditation card, and the Chariot. I mean, could it be any simpler? Keep on meditating. You're doing a good job, God's flow. Thank you very much, Tarot World. This is so much fun. Really? Is this really the last one today? I'd love to go another hour. Let me toss these and throw one for my friend, the rear gunner. Thanks for tuning in again, rear gunner. I don't know if you had a request. I don't think so. And what cards do I want to throw? I'm going to go back to the reliable Robin Wood for the rear gunner. You know, I want to say one more time to LMAABB, that was a lovely request. You make some very interesting requests, LMAABB. So thank you again for that unique request. That was really good. These cards are for the rear gunner. You know, the color matches your shamrock there. The rear gunner. Wow, you've accomplished quite a lot based on what I learned from what Lily wrote in the chat, rear gunner. And, you know I always feel like I have some kind of something in common with you, and that is there's no way, I mean, I'm going to say to myself, there's no way the universe, God, would let me get to the point where I'm at right now just to say, you know what, it's like a tissue, you might as well throw it away. I think that once I've reached this point and I've got, you know, all this knowledge and whatever else I got going on, this practice as a public speaker, okay, now the universe says, all right, now Breakaway Ray, we're ready. Turn on the camera and start talking, okay? So I feel like, you know, you're going to find a place where, you know, all the skills and expertise and mastery that you have is actually going to be required and necessary and sought after. But these cards are for you, rear gunner. I know, you know, when I wonder if you feel like I do when I look around, I don't see that, you know, but it's hard to see the forest from the trees. Is that the old expression? So maybe it helps you to hear me say, you know what, there's no waste involved. This is all training ground for adventure part 2 with the rear gunner. All right, let's see what the Tarot World has to say. This is for entertainment purposes only. First up, the Four of Pentacles, prize what shines. The Six of Pentacles, happy memories and nostalgia. Sorry, Six of Cups. Six of Cups, happy memories and nostalgia. It's, well, yeah, we can look back fondly, like we said in another reading just today. You know, I gave it my best shot. Okay. I have no regrets. I'm the Emperor. I'm in the driver's seat. How much power do we have at StarCard Podcast today? The Emperor card is showing up for everybody. That is awesome. Okay, everyone see the magic happening here? The Hermit just showed up again. A different deck, right? A different deck. And the King of Swords. Prize what shines. You put your best foot forward. There's no regrets. And now you're totally in charge. Do some soul searching. You know you're on the right path. Okay? Ah. Well, how wonderful. You have the 10 of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups. And the 10 of Pentacles, again, is saluting all the things that you've accomplished and the position that you're at right now. I mean, you did it in conjunction with the universe, but you got a lot going on. The 10 of Pentacles talks about divine harmony and domestic bliss. And the 9 of Cups is the wish come true card. So, hey, if you have some kind of childhood dream and it's been waiting too long, now's your chance. You got all your ducks lined up in a row. Go for it, rear gunner. Yeah. I'm so happy for you. My eyes are watering. Way to go, rear gunner. Hey, everybody. Thanks for making my day. Now get out there and make your own day. My name is Breakaway Ray. We'll see you next time on StarCard Podcast. Thank you.